Now, this is a good time to use the grab tool because the grab tool can help us to refine what we have so far. So let me go ahead and just zoom in a little bit. And I can take the grab tool and I can increase the size of this brush as well. And I can start to get the expression right as well. So I can go ahead and make some broad changes. For example, I can make the cheeks a little puffier. Like so. I can even, give them an overbite if I want to. And I can close this mouth a little bit as well. Although the pinch brush would be the best tool once we get this a little closer. Okay, so let me go ahead and just show you the pinch brush because it's really cool. You can take the pinch and we can just run it across and it will slowly bring the edges closer together. Now you don't have to just use it on something like a mouth. You can even use it on something like this nose here and it will pinch in the nostrils a little bit and even refine that edge. Give it a little sharp, nice look there. Like that. Now I'm going to go back to the grab brush, reduce the size a little bit more, and just start to play around with the expression. You will change the size of these brushes constantly depending on what you're doing. So I can go ahead, for example, and just pull this mouth out even further. Now let's say, for example, you wanted to give the character an overbite. For example, you wanted to bring this forward lip really far out, but you don't want to mess with the bottom. Well, what I can do is use the mask. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll up a little bit and grab this guy. And I'm going to reduce the size of the brush and paint a mask. Like so. And the mask will protect the mesh from being affected by the tools. And you saw I just went over like so. Not a problem. Hold the control key and you can erase that mask. Now we can grab something like the grab brush again and we can pull the geometry safely over the other parts to give them a big overbite or something like that. This is good when you're doing eyes or you're doing anything that needs a little bit of protection. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and clear that mask now. I'm going to go over here to the mask section of this menu and clear the mask. Now, if I don't want to clear that mask, I'll undo that. I can invert that mask so that everything that used to be masked is now free. And I can come down here now and do things like maybe grab the inflate brush. So let's go ahead and use the inflate brush and we can go ahead and puff up the bottom lip. Like so. Just to give you an idea. And we're going to once again hold down the shift key and we can smooth it back down. Think of shift almost as going backwards. But if you really want to go backwards, you go to erase. And that will just bring us back to the beginning pretty much of our geometry. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and clear that mask. And you see we have quite a bit of a mess here. So I'm going to undo a couple of times just to go back and clear the mask. Now, a perfect example for when you want to use the mask is when you want to bring that eyebrow ridge forward. So I can go into the cavity of the eye or the eye socket and I can protect it like so. And then I can use the grab brush or the inflate brush or whatever brush you'd like to use. And I can just bring the eyebrow forward without messing up the eye sockets. I can go ahead and clear that mask again, as you see here. All right, so there's a lot you can do. Now let's go ahead and increase the resolution so we can just add maybe a scar using the knife tool. So I'm going to go and hit subdivide. And I'll go ahead and subdivide again. And now you see we have a quadrillion polygons here. Well, not really, but close. Now we can grab a more refined tool like the knife tool. I'll reduce the size quite a bit. And I can go ahead and do a scar. Now this works only because the resolution of the mesh has been really refined, giving us a lot of polygons to work with. And now we can use his cousin, the pinch tool, and we can come in here and get that a little bit more irregular. So I can go ahead and make some parts really close, some parts pretty far away, and so on. Let's go ahead and throw in a quick layer. So I'm going to go right into the layers menu. And what we can do is we can take our wax tool, for example. I'll go ahead and reduce the size of this. And we can go ahead and create maybe some stitching right on top of that scar. And the beautiful thing about using layers, which I suggest you do, is you can hide it. So as you see here, this is the layer. We can go ahead and call it stitching or whatever you want to. And I can hide it. Or I can go to the strength and I can minimize it. So I can make it 20 or 30%. And now it's not as pronounced. Or I can overclock it, 300. And it's really crazy now. So I'll put it back to 100. All right, guys. So that is a quick look at just how you could start a project like a pumpkin. Keep in mind that this was extremely fast, but the tools will become very intuitive to you as you work, and you'll know what to use to achieve the effects you want. Don't forget though, always incorporate masks if you need to, and layers, because it can really help you to control whatever you're trying to create.